Next we're going to have a look at proportion. Now proportion using ratios is a statement of equality of two ratios. So that is saying that these ratios are the same thing essentially. So the best way to do this, or to have a look at this, is just to go right in and do an example. So we're going to use what's called the cross multiplication method here. So here's a question, right? Use the cross multiplication method to determine whether the following pair of ratios is in proportion. Okay, so here is a ratio we've been given, and then here, so note this isn't another ratio, this is a semicolon here, not another ratio, and then here is the other ratio that we have been given. Alright, so what is the cross multiplication method? Well, the first thing we need to do with each of these ratios, so this is where I said it will come in handy, is actually convert them to fraction form. So the number on the left is always a numerator here, then the two dots would signify that little division sign, and then the 9 will go on the bottom. So that's fraction form for the first one. Again, I'm going to put my semicolon because this isn't another ratio, we're comparing them. And the other one over here, I might use green. So 24 on top and 36 as our denominator there. So step one, so step number one, write in fractional form. Okay, so here we go, I've done that. Now you notice I said before that we're using the cross multiplication method. Now what that means is, in order to figure out if they equal the same thing, we can actually do this. So I'm going to start up here and draw a little dotted line down to 36. I'm going to write multiplies. So I have 6 multiplied by 36 on this side. Okay, 6 multiplied by 36. I've gone across. Now I'm going to draw up this way here, or I might start from the top again and go down. I've gone across, so I have 24. So remember we were checking if they were equivalent, so we're still comparing the two, so I'm going to keep my semicolon there. But on this side here, we'll end up with 24 multiplied by 9. So let's figure out what they both equal. So 6 multiplied by 36 is going to be 216. Okay, checking if they're equivalent. And 24 times 9 is going to be 216. So what you might actually want to do is make sure you do the full working out up there. But now what we're essentially saying here, well, we're checking for equivalence. So we have 216 on 216 here, so that essentially means 216 equals 216. So that means that these ratios, so therefore these ratios, so all the way at the top here, 6, 9 and 24 to 36 are in proportion. So that's the cross multiplication method. You write them in fractional form, then you cross multiply, and then you compare the results. So that's using cross multiplication. Now we could have actually, we can check this, and the way that I know this works is, well, if I had 6 is to 9 here. Well, I can draw my little arrow again, my arrows, and I go, well, what do I times 6 by to get 24? Okay, so it's 6 4s are 24. Okay, so if I do it to one side, I do it to the other side. So 4 times 9 is 36. So we can actually see that this is the same ratio because I haven't actually done anything, I haven't changed it in the sense that I've multiplied it by 4 on each side. So I've kept these equivalent or the same. And we can see that by multiplying them both by 4, it's, well, 24 is to 36. So the cross multiplication method is just a really easy way of doing this if you have much more complicated numbers to work with. So use the cross multiplication method. So now we have the cross multiplication method. We know that it works by looking at this. So now let's look at what happens using the cross multiplication method if we're given something a little bit more peculiar. So say I was asked to find the value of A in the following proportion. Now, by saying it's proportion here, we know that each side has to be equal, and so let's have a look at the proportion. So I'm going to do A in red. So there's A over 3 equals, so they're the same thing, 6 over 9. So they've written these ratios in fractional form already. So now, well, we need to write our proportion statement. So we know that A over 3 is equal to 6 over 9. So let's use our method. Remember, I'm going to cross multiply here. So I end up with, on this side, A times 9, and we're checking, it is going to equal 6 times 3 using our cross multiplication there. So that means we end up with, on this side, 9A equals 6 3s are 18. We want to find out what A is, so we need to get rid of the 9 here, and that means we're going to divide this side by 9, which means we divide that side by 9, so it ends up looking like A 18 divided by 9 equals, that means A equals 2. Alright, so we know that A equals 2. So we found out effectively there that, well, we found what it's asked. We found the value of A in the following proportion here. But that means if we were to rewrite this up here, let's just put it back in and see if it works. So that means that 2/3 is also equal to 6 on 9. Let's rewrite these as ratios. So 2 is to 3 is going to be the same as 6 is to 9. Okay, so if I do my little arrows here, if I did, what do I need to multiply 2 by to get to 6? I need to multiply it by 3. So that means I do it to the other side as well. 3 3s are 9. So we can see that our answer is correct and that these are actually in proportion.